In a series, 2-minute tips for relationships with Genie Z Laborde. Today talking with Mike Hulme.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jeannie.
Thank you for being here.
Good to see you again.
Thank you. I'd like you to tell the group that's watching, what's the most important skill you learned from my seminar, which was several years ago, but what stuck with you about relationships now? Not about business, but about relationships.
I think the main thing that I learned was that people have different methods for communicating, and it's quite possible very often that people meet other people who don't even understand the way that the other person thinks. To be in rapport and to be able to communicate in the way that they communicate is very important.
So you're thinking maybe the visual perceptual preference and the auditory perceptual preference and the feeling perceptual preference may make a difference in the way they talk?
Absolutely, and in how they respond in mannerisms to tell you whether you're communicating with that. Somebody who's a kinesthetic, who would be looking down within themselves at something, is listening to themselves when they're doing that, and it's important to understand that if you're making a presentation to somebody you just met, particularly when it's a personal presentation of your own feelings.
Well, what would you do if you had 50 people you were presenting to?
That's the interesting part of the conversation, because now, if, like politicians frequently have people of all kinds of communication capability, and a lot of visuals that are male or female, they have a lot of kinesthetic people that present to at the same time. So in fact, in a presentation to a group, it's always good to understand that you have to provide some things that are visual as well as some things that are auditory, or in a kinesthetic sense, something that you can describe a feeling, so that they can all receive something that is meaningful to them, that they will remember from that presentation.
So you're saying to make a really impactful presentation, you should use visual words like "I see what you mean." You should use auditory words like "that sounds good to me," "I hear what you're saying," and kinesthetic words like "I get a feeling for what you're saying," or
absolutely.
"that feels
on the
right
key points
to me."
of the communication, it's not only a good thing, as all politicians do, repeat themselves, is to say it in several different ways and give it a visual as well as an auditory and a kinesthetic sense.
And how about in your own relationship? Has that helped?
One of the first things I did in my relationship, which is a successful marriage of 3 years now, is start a conversation on understanding how people do think and having a conversation about that.
And you talked that over with your wife?
That was one of the first topics that she was very interested to understand, and I was interested in how she thought about things.
And how did she think about that?
She ended up being very pleased with the relationship.
That's good. So you made it work for 3 years.
Absolutely, yes.
Well, I have a very difficult relationship that's lasted, 24 plus 7 is 31 years. And long term, it's the only way to go if you and your partner really do see the world in a different way, which my husband and I do see the world. It's so amazing how differently we see the world. And yet we love each other and we make it work because we're willing to allow each other whatever reality we have.
Well, that survives because you both understand how each other think and feel about things. If you didn't and there was no correspondence, it wouldn't be so successful.
That's true. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
I think we must be at our 2-minute point.